Hello and welcome to another of Turtleton's tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at Minecraft pistons and their use in making a secret and hidden trap door. Now, here's our first design. It's very simple as you can see, and it includes one sticky piston given a constant on state through this inversion here of this button, and are representative of our flooring block. Now, when you press the button, the flooring block is going to be retracted. So if we do a mock examination of a person here being put on this tile, when they hit the button, they're going to fall down. And you can see there's enough time here for a fully grown person to fall in and plummet to their demise in the pit below. Now, using this example, here we have something you might find in a cave or some secluded entrance to your base. And you can see that we have here two pistons, which are the exact same as those example over there, with the exception of having two repeaters. And we have the same on this side, and this is mirrored, obviously. And this goes right up to our inverted button here. So, when we press this button now, the flooring is going to fall back in. As you can see again. Now, you'll note that the door does open. And this will allow you to get in if you're expecting a trap there. So it's not ideal. But for the average user who's coming up here and is trying to get in the door, they're going to fall down and be encased in your infinitely deeper trap pit here. Now, the main drawback of this design is you're going to have these walls. You can't place this trap in a large open area, because otherwise the pistons are going to be completely visible, and it will give the game away. So this is an improvement on the design. Now here it uses 3 sticky pistons, and again the source is from an inverted button. You'll see we have elevated wool here, just again for a contrast material, and a repeat switch. Now this section of wool here is just going to be driving this one piston, which is attached to our flooring material. So every time we press the button here, you'll see that the floor is retracted, or I should say the red wool is retracted, and it's pulled back in place. Now, taking this as your flooring level, you can see that we can easily conceal our pistons and have this in a completely open area. Now, imagine this is the front of your base. This is using the design we've just seen, and we have 4 copies of the design mirrored in both axes. Now here, when I press this button, you'll see the floor does open and the trap would be successful. Now of course you could get rid of the whole wall here and just place this in the middle of nowhere and maybe have a pressure pad located on one of the directly adjacent blocks perhaps. And so when somebody walks over it, they'll fall in. Now, most people aren't going to be looking for pressure plate in the middle of nowhere, and as such it would be quite successful, although probably won't have quite the same drop rate. Now again, the button is adjacent to the door. You can offset this by a number of blocks, but anyone who knows anything about redstone will know that you'll then have to rewire this button. So this is a utterly more believable method, although it does mean that you can sneak your way in, but not in that example. So, unless you're very quick, you're not going to make it through. Let's try that once more. Here we go again, getting right up close to the door, and you can push through. Now, here we have the actual workings of the device. You'll see, while it looks initially quite complex, it's simply a repeat of the design we saw earlier. We have our elevated wall with repeater. We have our 2 horizontal sticky pistons, and our 1 vertical sticky piston with our flooring material above it. Again, these relays here are just to allow the redstone power to propagate all the way through to the other end of the circuit. And this is our white wall block, which is powering this 1 piston here. As you can see, this is mirrored, as I've said before, amongst both axes. Now, here is a more advanced version of this door with a couple of minor tweaks. Now again, this is something you might expect to see in a cave or the back entrance to your base. Now this time, these 4 sections here are our actual trap doors. But we've also got a trap piston here and one above the roof. The one in the roof is going to push down and make it very difficult to get through this door. And this piston here is going to push you into the trap. So if I hit the button from a long as range as possible, you'll see the 2 pistons come in there, and the 2 sets of pistons make the trap fall out. Let's just grab a quick look at this. So here is the wiring, and again it can be concealed a lot better than I have done here. And you have your top piston and your side piston next to the door. Now again, it is still technically possible to get through this, but not without receiving some damage from this vertical piston. So let's see the trap in action. Well, that ended as expected. Of course, there are a couple of other tweaks I like to have in this design. One is when I eventually respawn, you'll see that I've set up a series of wooden pressure plates. Now these have got redstone wiring all the way through to a single piston here, sticky piston. So when this block is up, I'll know that someone has fallen into my trap and they've dropped all their wonderful loot. You'll see that now I've picked up the items, the yellow wall block has slipped back down to below floor level. The sticky piston method can be replaced with a single redstone torch which will illuminate any time someone's dropped anything in your base, if you prefer that method, and of course it can be wired to pretty much anywhere you like. This has been Turtleton's Tutorials, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy my cake. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.